Oh, good evening. Now, I can't tell you, I don't know if the chat's working tonight. I can see it on my end,
Oh
but
yeah, it's working, buddy.
I cannot get this to go on the overlay. So I don't know if you guys can see it out there, but I cannot see it on this main screen. I can see what you're saying, but that's it. Who knows?
Yeah, I can. I'm bust these
Ah,
things
it
out.
just appeared, and
All right, there
the
you
tech
go.
gods just. Yeah, anyway, I'm kind of pumped up tonight. Maybe that
Yeah,
vacation last week did it to me. By the way, good job, guys. I had a chance to finally watch the whole thing, and I did not get a chance to. I was going to come and grab some clips of Marty going. I loved it. That was great. We need to actually
yeah.
have some. We got to put that in our promo videos. I'm going to
That's
work on that.
you took her pretty good. I'll say that. A lot better than most people. I can say that
I thought
much.
it was a great show. I know I talked with Eric,
Thank you.
over the weekend, and he said it was really informative. And yeah, I kind of heard that from a few people. I know you kind of thought maybe, honestly, I thought it was a great show. So
Yeah,
good. I guess
good.
you don't need me.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I noticed. I am probably in October going to be going to Florida. So
Ah,
you're gonna be doing one yourself there, and yep, I think that's it. Yeah, I thought there was another one. Well, deer's second week of deer season, but you
well,
never know. See,
maybe I'll
maybe
be up
give
there
you
with
a
you.
maybe yeah, it might be there. Do one from the saddle sore or something. Who
Oh
knows?
my gosh. Oh. I think we could have some fun with that
Yeah.
someday. Anyway.
So
Oh,
anybody's tuning in, I'm JD. He's Clayton. On the agenda tonight, we got first off, we're going to do our poll question, do a little discussion over that, Clay, and then we're going to hit on Governor Low Jack
oh
Grisham
yeah.
down there in New Mexico, and then what's going on with that. I just noticed there were some updates right before we came on the show here.
I did too. So that
Some
was
good
good to
news.
see.
Yep, I figured you did. And then, of course, we're going to have the Second Amendment bullet points. And I'm not sure you're doing a Patriot company this week, Clay, I think.
I am. I
Okay.
am. I think I got a good one.
Okay, awesome. Clay's Patriot Company, and we finish it off with JD's happy ending. So
I think this
hopefully
is what
everybody tune in, sticks
is this
around.
episode 59, I think already.
59.
Wow, gosh.
Yeah, somebody asked me that the other day. So
My goodness.
and
Well, it's okay.
Clay and I, we don't have a hard date exactly set, but starting sometime in October. Clay and I are big baseball fans. Todd Mitchell told us when baseball season's over. That Friday after that, whenever that's going to be, we're going to be starting on K-Fire 550 every Friday at 8:15 a.m. So we're going to be on there for probably pretty dang close to 45 minutes every Friday morning, right? Right, Clayton?
Yeah, it's what it sounded like. I think that's probably a trial run as far as to see if we go to an hour or something. And
Mhm.
you and I've discussed this a lot. We're both kind of an agreement that we would do once a week, an hour sometime. I can tell you, I don't want it in the middle of the day. It just
Mm-mm.
screws up my day and probably yours
Once
as
a
well.
week's plenty.
Once a week, and I kind of like our morning slot there. So I guess
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
yeah,
And I hear a lot of people that actually listen to it on there. So good
yeah,
to hear. Hey,
yeah.
Vance from down in Georgia, which we're supposed to go on our hog hunt, and we were going to go. I think we're going to have to change the dates. And I haven't talked to you yet, Vance. I did talk to Hawk, but it's as long as you're on there, it sounds like we're looking at March. Because Eric is expecting another little one. Congratulations to Eric and Charity, and looking forward to that. But kind of put a little change in our dates.
Good people should have more kids. Good job,
That's
Eric.
right. More conservatives. More
Yeah,
conservative.
hailing that thing. Nice bright colors, and Clay noticed that right away. He said I got the pumpkin spice colors going. I said we might as well keep that trend rolling, baby.
Just for Eric, I think. So.
Oh, there's more than Eric. Yeah, they're not pumpkin spice.
One
man.
shot cat, good to see you. He says bang, Brian Warner. Hey, Mr. Fellow MVE. And of course, everybody else that's listening on the website. I didn't realize how many people listening on the website. That's great, but I don't have a counter from there, and you can't actually comment from there. So that's okay.
I don't know why that is, but that's odd. So all right, Clayton.
Vance, buy a TV, Eric. That's pretty good. Why don't you throw us up that Second Amendment?
Oh, actually, I got her right down here in the old in right wing knuckle dragon, uneducated noggin. Oh, now that I said that, I might have jinxed myself.
Oh,
yeah. So
I
did jinx myself.
Here, I'll put it up there.
Let's see it. I'm
a
right wing knuckle dragon.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And we say this every show, but it's getting more and more important.
You hear that, Governor Grisham?
Yeah, we're coming for you, Gov.
I think a lot of people are, which we're going to get into. But before we do that, Clay, let's. What was Eric say? I have a phone number that keeps calling my cell and disturbing the show. I googled it, and it's Dusty Johnston's call. Eric E. Newman, is that what you're not Eric? What'd you call him, Clay?
I call him Alfred E. Newman, yes.
Man, why do I always get it wrong? Okay.
But he's got a lot of nicknames from what I learned over the weekend
Yeah.
down in Rapid. Holy cow. I just got to touch on this a little bit. So Leighton and I went and seen Mr. President
Yeah.
Donald Trump in Rapid City. That was amazing. You had an arena full of 7,000 people. But, I kind of saw something in there that I've never seen in South Dakota before. In between festivities and early speakers, and then until you get up to the main event, they were playing some videos. Well, one was from the Republican Party, and they flashed a picture up there of John Thune, Senator John Thune. The whole place erupted in boos, and I've never seen that in South Dakota. So, guys, his armor, the chink in his armor, has been fractured evidently in South Dakota. It was reminiscent to me as when we got him elected. I mean, I helped out with that campaign up here in our area, and we defeated Senator Tom Daschle at that time, who was a sitting majority leader. And it was, John's doing the same thing. He says one thing out in the open here in South Dakota when he comes home to visit, and when he gets in there in the actual Senate, he completely does the opposite anymore. And you know what? It's starting to show. People are starting to realize it. I tell you what, I think there's going to be a primary when he's up again. And just by some of the reactions of the people I talked to down there, he's not a popular man. It's interesting. They brought in a senator, Republican hardcore senator, conservative from Montana to speak, but not one single one of South Dakota's delegation, the House of Representatives or either senator showed up. That kind of speaks volumes right there.
Wow.
So South Dakotans, you guys got a lot of work. You got a lot of work to do. Get rid of Rhino Rounds. I've never liked that man since he was a governor or in the legislature. I can't stand him. He's a sellout, always has been, and he can just go right on out with the rest of them. But Dusty Johnson, he's just a nobody. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that road too much. I could spend an hour on that.
Yeah. Well, Clay actually talked to some Guns in the 701 supporters and lined down there too.
I did. I wish I'd have had. They weren't.
Should have busted the phone out and did a little talkie with them there.
I could have. I was kind of just wrapped up in the whole thing and the atmosphere and having a hell of a good time down there, meeting a lot of new people. People I actually heard of Guns in the 701. Met some great North Dakotans down there. Some from Dickinson who knew our buddy Dan. So that was great to see. We hung out the rest of the time there. We even sat by each other in the arena.
Awesome.
So it was a lot of fun. I'll get some pictures loaded up, guys, next week just to kind of show you what it was like. But nothing compares to it. I know you've been to a rally, and it's nothing like going, is it? I mean, the pictures and the video, it's nothing like being there.
There's more energy in there than you can think is coming. I was really surprised how it was. I mean, you get goosebumps, and it was pretty awesome, man. It was at the Civic Center. I remember that. My mom and my stepdad Scott went. It was on. Thanks to I got a free ticket from my dentist. So thanks, Dr. H. That was awesome.
I can tell you this: tickets were cheap, $20 a piece. I mean, that was pretty reasonable. Mm-hmm. They actually added seats. It's only a 6,500 person arena, really, and that's pushing it. And they were 7,000 plus in there. They just added some wherever they could, and you could see it. Mm-hmm. A couple of highlights were the crowd broke out in all in unison, singing the song Hallelujah when they were playing it. They were playing background music just while people were waiting. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting back there and I go, wow. And I did video it. It just didn't come out in the video, but the whole I mean, you got 6,000 to 7,000 people in there singing the chorus to that song. It's kind of amazing. It's gives you goosebumps, really. It really does.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Godfrey. He when he got up there, he started with the Lord's Prayer, and the whole place said it. I mean, just truly amazing to see the kind of people that are attending, why they're there. I got interviewed by Real America's Voice. I haven't seen it. They were just taping it or filming it. I don't know if they'll ever use it, but they did interview me and Leighton. That was kind of fun, and I kind of told them exactly why I was down there, and I'm sure it echoed what I saw every place else. People know this is our last chance. And they really feel it. They're passionate about it, and I'll tell you what, if we can carry that momentum on, who knows what can happen? Maybe we can defeat the algorithms. I hope so. But anyway,
Yep, got to do it.
more next week. I'll have a little
Right. Well,
footage.
that's fact. Next week, before we hit on our first topic, real quick, we're going to have on Naomi Chafee. She's got a new podcast called Constitutional Chafee. She's a young gal going to college, real pro Second Amendment, big conservative. So we're going to have her on. So I hope you guys can tune in for that. It should be fun. I don't know what you say. What do you say for a podcast or a live stream? That's not tune in, is it? It's kind of click in, right?
Click in. I don't know. I know when I was on the phone today with Daryl on K-Fire, just feel at the end there when we were trashing game and fish mismanagement. I forget they got to take breaks. We don't have to do that. We take a break.
We don't have to do one when we start 45 minutes. So
yeah, right. So, well, we should get into this first subject. I'm sure you guys have heard about it in the news. I'm going to let you take lead on this, Jamie, and then I'll throw in what I kind of found out here recently.
We didn't do a poll last week, so this week I did one. I told everybody we were going to do it right away, and we had a lot of votes on it. This might have been our second highest vote participation. Would you like to see more public land in North Dakota? So yes, no, and don't care. I'll start out with the low vote right away. It was don't care. That was our buddy Travis out in Washington.
Okay. I bet he doesn't.
Yeah. The no's came in at 31% with 23 votes, and yes was a domination on this one, 67%, 49 votes.
Oh, wow. So
now, Clay, you go ahead. I know you're a no, but give everybody your reasoning why you're a no on this one.
Well, I'm not a big fan of the government owning more land. That's the big thing. They can't manage what they got now, if that's even a term. I don't know how you can manage something that's so large like this, but especially federal land. No, I'm all about them selling it off, selling it to private people, organizations, or returning it to the states or the counties. To me, I'd like to see all the federal lands. I think this is where we could all come to a compromise on the federal lands, which, guys, they're not federal lands. I guess we need to quit calling them that. These are taxpayer-owned lands.
Right.
So
that's what they bought it with, is the taxpayer money.
That's right. So they got public access, but they're not public lands. I wish they'd quit calling them public lands, because they're not. They're taxpayer-owned lands. But anyway, I'd like to see those federal taxpayer-owned, illegally owned lands returned to the counties. That's where they belong, is in the county. And then let those county commissioners, because you have a very direct link to your county commissioners. You have more of access, I guess is a good way to put it. So if you see something wrong, you can go talk to these county commissioners. If they don't react or do the right thing, you go ahead and you go run against them and get rid of them. Get the people in there you want. I don't think you'd see what you're seeing if you had it in the county control. States better. Absolutely not the feds. The feds are only constitutionally able to buy land for forts, post offices, and roads going to post offices, if you want to get technical, when it was written. And we can expand that, I suppose, to highway transportation infrastructure. And then, of course, the 10 by 10 square miles of Washington, D.C. That's it. They're not supposed to own.
Anything else? I disagree with you on that, Clay.
No,
I was doing some reading on that. I didn't see that anywhere in here. I was looking
right in here. And what it says
I didn't see it in there. I want to hear it, man, because I didn't see that in there.
You have to give me a moment. Article 3.
Because federal land ownership began when 13 states ceded their western lands between Appalachian Mountains and Mississippi River to the central government. That started way back then. And
but
they can't
were independent states. You know that,
right? But they can't buy any more land. But I mean, they can. The Congress can approve that the federal government can buy land. I mean, the president can't just buy it, but it's ceded. Congress was ceded the power in 1978 or 34. I can't remember. I'd have to go through it again. But
now you just see what you said. They ceded the power, but they did not follow the Constitution when they did that. They didn't have the power to do that. They just didn't. They got to pass a law and have it go through the structure.
So in 1781, it was 6 years after these guys wrote the Constitution, and the federal government was buying land. So they just said the hell with the Constitution way back then.
Oh, they several times. That might be a shock.
But they wrote the Constitution.
They wrote it and they ignored it, honestly, several times, unfortunately.
So it says in the Constitution the federal government can't buy land. Abe Lincoln bought a whole state, and we bought Alaska, and
and they then turned it into states and returned power to those states. Honestly, what the heck? Wait a second. I'm distracted here. We had a new little thing pop up here I've never seen.
Okay.
You see that up there? Anyway,
No.
so basically what they are allowed to do, and then they were supposed to rent offices. So say you got a USDA or an FS, any of these offices are supposed to be rented. They're not supposed to be owned. The only thing that can be owned is the post office
I
and
do
the
see that
courts.
thing popped up there. Now, what the
Yeah,
heck
I
is
know it. You got me. I should have had this ready. That's my own fault. I just read it last night. Uh, Electors, judicial power, treason. Oh, we know all about that here lately in Article 3, don't we? I don't want to waste all our time here, though.
that? Yeah. Anyway, I don't feel as
New
far
states
as
may be admitted to the union, of course, and of course that's how when when the feds bought, I guess you could say, bought the Louisiana Purchase, they bought this huge land mass for little or nothing, but then they turned it into states after the expansion, and those states became independent states of our country. Therefore, there really was supposed to be no federal ownership in there, and that's why the whole West is littered
well, they sold a
with
bunch
Forest
of it
Service land.
off.
They
I
sold a
mean,
ton of it off for different
yeah.
things.
And well, like I said, they put the power back to Congress, which I mean, I don't know where it says in the Constitution, but maybe we'll talk that over with
Well,
Chafee next week. But
Well, think
and
about it this way.
I'm definitely not advocating for the federal government to
No,
buy more land. I'm just saying I'm not so sure that it's not.
but think about it like this. What else has government done? I mean, the state took control of all the water. What gave them that authority? They claim it's all theirs, all public waters, but they never can find anything that says it's theirs. They just made claim to it, kind of like what the feds have done over time. The problem is us as people didn't stop it then. So now what do we
Well, I
do
mean, the
with it?
founders, the framers didn't stop it. They grew it.
They grew it to a point. They made different purchases, and in all honesty, our framers, as brilliant as they were, they trampled the Constitution shortly after too. There's several instances where they did that, and I guess it's the nature of the beast, in my opinion, when that happens. But nothing like we're seeing today. Nothing like we're
Yeah,
seeing
I
today.
mean, so in my
Okay,
idea of public lands would be something
here it
like
is. I found it. So this is it's under section 7. That's where it kind of lays out everything. Under, I believe it's Article 1. So it talks about any bills raising revenue, of course, come and originate out of the House of Representatives. That's a whole other thing that's going on right now. Whether the Senate can do it, they can't. Every spending bill has to come out of the House of Representatives. That's right there. Oh, I'm sorry. It's section 8 here, guys. So part of it is you can, it calls for bringing forth militias. It's rules of government regulations on land and naval forces. You got to provide and maintain the Navy. Brits of War to establish post offices and post roads. Right there and right there is exactly what it says. And the 10 by 10 square miles known as the District of Columbia and shall have exclusive rights in legislation in all cases over such district. Nothing in here, and this is the only place that ever talks about land ownership is right there, and that's all they say. So I guess in your
I don't think it says they can or they can't. To be honest with you,
well, to me, I'm always going to say it's going to the Constitution is very kind of it's not to be interpreted. It's to be taken literal. So they don't give them the right to. They don't specifically say they can do it, but they do say what they can do, and that was post offices, forts, post roads, which was at that time traffic in between Pony Express, you could say, and of course DC. It never says in there they can go beyond that. And it's kind of like our Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights says what we are by law, by God's law, granted, but doesn't say they can go make a whole bunch of other things and exclude our rights. They're very finite and they're very, very specific. And whatever isn't in there under the 10th Amendment comes back to the states and to the people.
I agree with you, but it does. I want to say that they can. I want to see where it says the federal government can't buy up land, and every piece of land is going to be privately owned, except for.
Well, I would just revert back to their saying that doesn't allow them to, and that's what the whole purpose of the Constitution was. It was to not say if it's not mentioned they can do it, then it's assumed it isn't. That's how I've always had it explained to me, and I'd rather see it that way. Now, take on and going down the next level, states are not barred from owning land. unless they
So Doug says
specifically
there
did
should
it.
be no federal parks then?
I agree. I don't believe in federal parks. And you
No,
know
he's
what?
asking a question.
What's that?
He's asking the question.
I've never thought they were legal. Teddy Roosevelt was the biggest abuser of the Antiquities Act. He could not get them to pass legislation to pass his, basically get national parks. So what he did, he called them monuments, which is under the Antiquities Act, and then just took control of them. And I think that was an illegal act, unconstitutional, because he wanted to be, he was buddied up with his greenie buddy there, and that's how that all come down. I am not a fan of federal anything. The federal government's supposed to be the weakest part, the weakest link in our system, except to maintain militaries to actually protect us from our enemies and foes.
So Naomi, if you're listening or you listen to this on the podcast, get your pencil sharpened up. I want to get schooled up here. Coach me up on some constitutional, on some land ownership here. All right, Clay. So it's 7:20.
Anyway, getting back. Let's get back to quickly to what we were talking about in our poll.
But I got a lot more to add to this. We're at 7:22.
All right, let's take a break.
Let's hit a commercial here. So if you got any comments about would you like to see more public hunting land in North Dakota, get them ready. We're going to do our first commercial here, and then after that we're gonna be hitting on that a little harder. So
Lauer Auto Repair. They're located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota, or give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can tackle any problem your vehicle is having, and when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with the Pro Second Amendment America First Repair Shop. There's plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area, but why take the chance of patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake, Lauer Auto is your Pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them you heard they're a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our Pro Second Amendment, Pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308, located at 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota.
All right. And thanks again to Lauer Auto Repair. They are a fantastic place. Did you get my message, Jamie?
Yeah, I did. I was thinking the same thing.
And don't get me wrong, everybody. Jamie and I are always going to be friends. We're not getting heated here. It's a conversation, and I kind of love the contrast. So it's not good to have echo chambers.
Right. I mean, that's exactly why I asked this question, Clayton.
I want to put some comments up here from people that were on the poll because I found them interesting.
Yeah. You guys can say that too. Good idea.
Can all read them. Shane Bengson, is that how you pronounce that?
I think so. I think
one of our top fans. Public, as in the government owning it? No, actually, the government owning and controlling more land is never a good idea. And I think you and I are both on it. We don't think that's a good idea either.
Yeah.
Speaking of Naomi, she chimed in. Good question.
Yeah.
Eric Newman's I'm going to say yes, because when I hunt, I have to go on public because I'm not a land baron or I have to ask permission. But public is just much easier for access. But I don't want the communist federal government owning it and managing it. And that was pretty much, he had a little more there, but I didn't click on it.
I mean, I'm on board with Eric, and I agree with him on that big time.
Travis Jensen, I support public land. However, I voted no because the public land currently out there isn't managed worth a blank. I try not to cuss as much on here. Not to mention, I feel school land should be open to public hunting, same as the grasslands are, regardless of grazing.
School land by our farm is.
What's that?
The school land by our farm is open to public hunting.
And all of it is. So I'm going to explain that a little. Actually, before I put that up, I'm going to explain how that works, everybody. So the public school lands in North Dakota are open to public access. Always have been. But you as a leasee, because I have 2 quarters of school land. If I want, and I still got cattle in there. By the way, anyone wants to know this, there has to be livestock in those on those lands to request this. But you can request from the school land trusts, I believe is what they call North Dakota School Land Trust, basically to close it down to hunting completely. But it's also closed to the leasee. So if I did that, which I did it one year to prove a point after they defeated our property rights bill, I also could not hunt it. I also couldn't go in there. But
so if you post it, you can't hunt it, and neither can anybody else.
I can't post it. The North Dakota State Trust Lands has to put. In fact,
Okay.
they send you posters to do it. But yes,
Okay.
then I can't hunt it either,
So
even though I hold a
question.
lease.
I got another question for you, Clay.
Mhm.
Let's say it's not posted, you don't have cattle on it. Can somebody just roll up there and say, "Hey, I want to go hang a gong out on this thing and whack at it at 400 yards"?
I don't know why they couldn't. I don't know of any.
Okay, see,
It's
that's the kind of
public
thing I
access.
want. In my mind, public lands like they do down in Arizona and stuff like that, where they can go out and it's public land. If you want to ride your damn side by side on there, you damn right you can. If you want to go do some target shooting,
just for reference, I will let everybody know. I do not support the idea that I, as a leasee, can actually call up and get that done, because I believe that taxpayer-owned lands should have public access. Okay,
yeah,
but
that's
I
what I'm
was
getting at.
completely pissed off after 2019, and I found out we could do it, so I called up and I had them send, and I did. I posted it down hard. I had them send me a lot of signs, and I mean, there were people that were mad because it was posted, and I just told them, well, it's something we can do, and I can't hunt it either. So that was, and I know it raised a ruckus because they actually discussed it then in 2021, but they didn't do much with it. But if Travis is listening tonight or hits the podcast, it's something you got to take up to with your legislators. They're the ones that have to change that rule. And like I said, personally, I don't think it should exist. I think if it's publicly held land, taxpayer-owned land, then it should be public access.
So I'll go back to something that Measure 5. You remember that, right? When
Big time. Yep.
Okay, so they wanted to use the oil money tax, right, to buy up land. So, and I'll tell you right now, right away I thought that was a good idea, and then by the end of it, I can tell you I had a no on Measure 5 sign in my yard, and the reason is it wasn't like they weren't going to let you go out there and target shoot on it and actually use it like it was public land, and they had an appointed committee over that land, not people that could be voted on.
That's right.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, if they would have did that and you could have just went out, like I said, and like you want to go ride your side-by-sides around and have trails on there, and then I'll tell you what, if deer season comes and you just want to use it to retrieve your deer or something, that's fine, because I wouldn't want to be out there hunting and a bunch of guys are ripping around on their freaking razors during rifle season. Well, but I would have probably did it. I'd have probably voted yes on it then, but it wasn't like that. And that's not really public land to me. Public land is you can go out and do on that basically what, not everything you can do on private land, but and of course I do feel sorry for people who don't have places to hunt. I'm very fortunate that I have all kinds of land to hunt on and do what I want on, and friends who own land that I can do that on. But the vast majority of people don't have that. And I've had this discussion with Scott a few times about, and you say it too, Clay, somebody come help you out on your land. And I told Scott, I said, so Scott, you live in Rame. Do you really think a guy who lives in Bismarck and has 2 or 3 kids and a wife, and they got sports in the summer and they're taking their kids all over, you think he's going to take a week off and come down there and help you do stuff on your ranch? I'm like, you're dreaming, dude. That's a good way to up the divorce rate in North Dakota. He disagreed with me, but I can tell I run that by most people I know, and they're like, yeah, you're right. I don't have time to do that. And I guess it would take pressure off private land, is in my mind as well, because public land gets freaking stomped by
I watch it every year. I got an allotment. That's 2 quarters that go with this place that I wish they'd sell me, but they don't. And I watch that get pounded hard. And I mean, it does no good. Now, since I've taken over and taken it back, we had the whole place rented out that had that piece. And now that I'm on there, I don't graze near as many cattle. Not that the guy before me who was leasing my land was running too many as far as what they were allowing him. Yeah. I felt they were allowing him too many, but he was just running what they said he could in there. I'm running half because that's all we ever did. I like to take care of it. I like to see that grass in there. I like to have something in there for the birds. I utilize it with a well-rounded attitude, I guess.
Plays a closet bird watcher.
I want to kill him. But I try to make sure that it's going to catch snow in the winter, and it did this year. I tell you what, we had those early snows, and watching them guys on that public land trek across that. It's walk in, or it's not walk. You can only walk in on this stuff anymore. And I'll tell you what, some of them gave up because it was deep. because it was really deep in there
Yeah.
last year. Because I mean, it caught snow because I left grass in there.
Especially after that second week when the wind blew.
Oh, it was
I got a good
horrible.
story about balking and hunting and sweating. I'll tell you about it after the.
But as far as you know, if people come down and help me? Yeah, if they would, great. It comes about, and let's remember, this is about choices. Either you want to choose to hunt and put in the work, whatever it might be, whether it's helping someone, whether it's getting out there and driving around on a weekend, meeting people. Not necessarily, I don't expect you to work necessarily, but if you want to, hey, it's not going to be a bad thing. But I can tell you right now, taking people who don't know what the hell they're doing on a ranch is probably worse than them coming and just being nice people and asking. And then, I have a group from Minnesota once. So I ain't been here in a few years because pheasants are so down. I saw them out there with their kids, and they kept eyeing my land, and they just weren't getting a lot of pheasants on the stuff on the other side. So I drove out there, and the look on their face was like, oh crap. But no, I said, I noticed you guys got some kids with you. And I said, I'm really a big supporter. We don't keep these rights unless the next generation can do it. And I go, so if you want, I said, you follow this across here and go on my little creek there and follow it behind, and you're going to find birds. I said, there's only a quarter here, and then you run into the Indian land. And if you have an Indian license, I don't care if you do or not, but that's public access. And oh my gosh, and they came back every year, and they brought me fresh walleye that next year. Hey, I'm good. I love fresh walleye.
That, man. Yeah, it's unbeatable.
So, and that was building that relationship. That's what this is about. If people just get out there and talk to the private landowners, now they're not all going to be nice, but for the most part, they will be. Yeah. And it's when you start eyeing stuff on my land, and you don't make any effort to look or to call me or find me, but you keep circling it. Why? Them deer ain't going nowhere. They're on my place because they've been chased off the public land. Yeah. So wouldn't it be good? I have a sign there, has my name on it. Why not give me a call? But they don't.
Yeah. I mean,
and then bitch about the private landowners are assholes.
If you hunt on public land, if you don't get them in the morning or sometime, and they're going to move around at night. But I like you said, future generations. I just think if there was far more land for the public to hunt, that it would. I mean, that's only going to help us out in the long run. Like I said, I need stipulations if that has to happen again. But I just think that in the future, that would be a big boom for people to be on our side. We'd have more hunters. And I guess it has to be open, man. People need to go there and be able to shoot and ride their side-by-side. Because I'll tell you, Clay, most people who ride side-by-sides and motorcycles and shit, they're on our team. They might not be hard, but I'll guarantee you most of them people are Trump people. I'll promise you that.
Well, when it comes to ATVs and things, I think they're a tool if they're used correctly, like any tool. Don't abuse that. Don't abuse the privilege to take them on private land, public land, whatever it might be. Don't abuse the privilege, and you'll be just fine. I was a kid. Hell, I'll be 49 years old here in a few days. I still like to take either my son's dirt bike or my four-wheeler and just give it hell and go jump something and tear some freaking dirt up. It's a lot of fun. Or find a mud hole. It's just fun. So do that, but do it with a conscience, knowing where and when and how you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's always. So, I don't really chastise anybody that takes a four-wheeler and starts ripping through the mud wherever it's at. It's kind of fun. If there's a mud hole there, go ahead. And the cow's probably already wallowed in it, so go ahead and rip it up. Have some fun. You get stuck. Have fun getting out.
I love side-by. I mean, I rode motorcycles and through when I was a kid, but we got some. Sorry,
we do. Yeah, I'm going to go to some of these comments because there's some great ones in here.
So what Eric says, what chaps my hide is people getting taxpayers' money for CRP and no public. Yeah, I mean, CRP usually sucks, really, Eric, in my opinion. CRP land. There's a bunch around our place, and I don't blame the guy, the nice guy I'm friends with. I don't blame it all for taking it, but I mean, if you got an antelope tag, you're probably in business or hunting coyotes because it is flat and open. It is flat farmland.
And, when I look at
they're going to pay them.
Yeah, the CRP program.
Whoa.
I don't want to jump in on you here, but I got to know something about it. So it used to be a 25-75 cost share to plant it. 25 by the landowner, 75 by the whatever entity it is. Most time it's the feds. And within that contract, you should read them, by the way. I know people don't read them. They just sign them, take the money. And then it's usually, I think they're a 10-year contract now. That's changed a lot. I think it's 10 now. So you're entering into a lease. The government is leasing your land for 10 years so that you take it out of production. And at times they do release that for haying. And I know I'm going to piss off a bunch of people right now. I don't agree with that either. If your contract says it's for taking out of production, then it's taking out of production. Now, if you want to sign a lease with them that says, hey, in times of disaster or emergency, then we will allow you to cut 1/3 of that every year, or we'll allow you to cut all of it every third year. That's fine because it's in your contract. It'd be no different than you and I having one, Jamie, and we agree to the terms. But I hate it when they start whining. Now, as far as what Eric said, I have said that even long before we used to have some CRP. I could never understand why, when the government literally leased the land for 75%, why I didn't have to grant some kind of public access with that. I think that should be in the lease.
Yeah.
Because it's taxpayer money.
I think all even them landlocked ones should be but we'll talk about that when we get Scott on it because I know he's got a big opinion on that. Keith, let's go to Keith.
I was going to grab this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go for. Oh yeah, okay.
Doug makes a great point. He says, why do Americans have to pay to go into the state and federal park? Good question.
I got maybe an answer for that.
Go for it.
You got to have something to maintain stuff in there. How else are they going to get money to maintain stuff on the parks?
Well, I can tell you most state parks receive Pittman Robinson money, a lot of it.
Oh, okay, but we can't go shooting on there, huh?
Yeah, and you also, from your hunting and fishing licenses in some states, I don't know about North Dakota, also goes in that. And then, of course, along with the state park fees. But to me, again, it's a state park. I thought it was supposed to be, for everybody, but then you got to pay to get in. It's a good question, Doug. I mean, we pay for other stupid stuff. Yeah. Maybe Doug, let's take the money away from the migrants and the illegals.
Clay was going right where I was going.
Yeah, and let's fund our parks. Yeah,
I was just gonna say we don't have to fund that state-owned Lutheran Social Services.
That's right. We were thinking alike. Keith O'Donnell. I hate road hunters. Oh my goodness!
Keith, I agree with you. I mean, one of the reasons I quit hunting deer when I was younger was because of that. But again, I have sympathy for these guys. They piss me off, but I have sympathy for them because they don't have anywhere to go to go hunt. That's their way to do it. And I think if you have more public lands, it'd be a lot less of that going on. They could get on these lands. I'm
going to throw this out here. Do you think that the road hunters in your area are they didn't know the area and they just saw the amount of tags, so they applied? And B, or are they locals that know better?
I think B.
So I don't have no sympathy for them.
I think B, because I'll tell you this much, Clay, there's not even in our unit, there's not very many tags available, even in Goodyear. So
around here, 3F2, our unit, huge unit, lots of tags, way too many tags even this year. And there's always doe tags left over. And these guys I see, they come out here and I don't know what they must never look at the map. There's not that many quarters of what I would call taxpayer-owned public access land. I mean, every township has a school piece, but it might not be the entire section because those have been sold off and changed and exchanged hands over the decades.
There's a lot of unposted stuff around our place. But so the thing with that though, Clay, is do I know a lot of these people who hunt? Yeah, my dad knows damn near everybody in that county, and so do my uncles. But even if they talk to us, what am I going to do? What are we going to do? Let them come in there and hunt and smoke all the deer, and then there's no deer left, and I'm
sure you're like me. I actually manage how many people I let on, and our place only allows so many others. And I can tell you right now, if me and my boys have tags, you're not, unless you're hunting with me and you're a good friend, you're not getting on here until after we're done.
Well, the thing is, tell you what, between my friends that have been coming out there for years and helping out, and my uncle and my cousins, I mean, could we let more people come out there and hunt? Yeah, but then guess what? Then the deer population is going to get lit up around there and in that area, and there's people who bitch because it's posted now. But guess what? By not doing that, the deer that come on our land as a bit of a, I guess, sanctuary, if you will. And it's not that my family owns like 10,000 acres. We don't. It's about 1,700 and contiguous right there. But the deer come on there, and it is a bit of a sanctuary because they don't go out and get killed, and it keeps the population up because the does live and the smaller bucks come on there and don't get killed. and the deer population grows, and a lot of them deer leave that and get killed elsewhere. So by not letting everybody and your little brother on there, it's actually helping the deer population around there. But if we started letting them on, would more people? Yeah, sure, people would get some deer, but then as a whole, our family who owns the land would suffer, and so would everybody around there by less deer population.
I mean, it is a huge balancing act. It really is. I look at it like this: the private landowners, we own 92% of the land in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And this wedge between landowners and hunters, as far as I'm concerned, bad hunters always give hunters a bad name, just as bad landowners give landowners a bad name. We started to see the landowners sell out and then the places got bigger and bigger, some out of state, and then they usually shut it down. People buy land just for hunting, and pay big money for it. I'm a capitalist at heart, so I would never be against people doing that. Then you look at Game and Fish. Game and Fish has done zero to try and improve that landowner-hunter relationship. And I would contend they do so much to drive the wedge even deeper so that they can have a constituency that sits there and supports a lot of their stupid policies. I'm sorry, plots is never going to happen here.
Yeah.
Ever.
But, again, plots is almost like public when they pay them to do it. So
but it ain't much. I could go and I could fee hunt and make more than that. So
it gets pounded. Plots land gets pounded. Eric got a good one here. He says, I take more pride in getting a good buck on taxpayers' lands than I do a good buck on private land, because public land has more pressure, so it's way more. Eric, you're right on the money again there, buddy. I agree.
Oh, yeah. And guys, I can tell you right now, Eric takes some nice deer, and most of it's on the taxpayer-owned public access land. It really is. Eric, if he wants to ever come hunt here, he can. He's in South Dakota, so he'd have to get the non-resident tags, which aren't cheap. I know that his brother has some in South Dakota's land. As far
North
as
Dakota's non-resident tags are fairly cheap compared to anywhere else.
They are compared to other places. Now, I've been hunting. I've been in Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, of course, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Iowa hunting, and of course, Florida. But I can tell you right now that I've never had any issue finding private land, even in Wyoming, guys. I went out there for about 2 different weekends one time. And I went down by Wright, Wyoming. That was where my area was, where I had my antelope tag. Went to the bar and started talking to people. I'm pretty shy. And I got in there. By the time I left that night, I had 3 places to hunt on private land. It can be done. Now, I don't know what to tell everybody. I've never had any issue with trying to do that. The worst they say is no. You buy each other a beer and you have a good time the rest of the night, right? I mean, It's not. Don't take it personal when you get told no. And a lot of people do that, and I never have. I haven't always had land to hunt. I mean, I had my grandpa's place growing up, kind of, I guess you could say, and then we have this place now that we have, and there's 3,200 acres here with 2,781 being owned. And the other is leased. So, or rented,
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've never had any issues with and I can hunt all the neighbors' land. I've talked to them and they're, yep, that's good to go. So, I got a lot of land access here. I've always had land access, but it's because I built them relationships as I did it. Even from the time I was 16, I didn't start hunting until I was 16. And I've always had land to hunt. I can't say I've never had no place to hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if I imagine at some point in time down the road it's going to come up again, but unless there's some big changes from what they had in Measure 5, like I said, I went over those before.
That was
I
bad,
wouldn't support
Bill.
it then. That sucked. That sucked. So
well, and you take things like Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, they have the Pass It On program. Now I don't know if it's changed, but years ago, if you enrolled that in there, a lot of times it was closed to hunting. It was just for conservation. They closed all the hunting in it. I can't tell you if that's still their policy, but it was their policy at one time, and that wasn't good. Anytime you take land like that, and then that's not good either. You have to hunt. You have to manage that herd with taking of certain. I mean, especially if you don't have a natural depredation, you got to do something, right? Otherwise, they get sick and they get illness and they die. So, I still think private landowners do the best.
Yeah.
And if you look at public land, at least in North Dakota, Except over in the Badlands, there's still some nice big bucks there because it's such a rugged land and most people are too lazy to go walk it or grab a horse and go out into it. But right now, most public land around here is grasslands. You've seen my land; it's pretty rolling, flat and rolling.
Yep. Yeah.
And it gets pounded, and there's nothing on it after that first weekend. Nothing comes back to it till after the season's closed, pretty much.
I mean, if you ever go out to the Badlands during either bow or rifle, you will see the popularity of public lands. But again, Measure 5 didn't, because of the way they had that set up, and it ain't, because I guarantee if they ever did something like that the correct way, it would probably pass.
Yeah,
but the way that was, and you, like I said, the Badlands, there's tons of public hunters who do that, but they
right.
I mean, they could probably see that was a bad deal too. Obviously, they did, because it got freaking smashed, which rightly so.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a couple comments up
go
here,
for it,
Eric.
Clay.
Because in our area, it's East River people beating the roads hard. They can drive back and forth across the state 5 times for the amount that they drive in our county. And and where Eric's at is down by Shade Hill. You've been down there before, down where the cabin is. And now that's probably the biggest chunk of land that has public access, taxpayer-owned land, because it's just continuous grasslands down there, and it comes off the river watersheds is how they acquired that land. That's how the whole grasslands was developed. Nobody knows this. Your national grasslands. You want to know why they're by rivers? Or because it was all developed because it came off of the watersheds of the river system. That's why you'll find grasslands only near river bottoms or big river systems, because that's how they were developed. Anyway, you can go look all that up if you want to figure it out yourself. But there is vast amounts of land down there. Okay, there's also vast amounts of applicants for those tags and those units. 53, A and B, and you get over here, and of course, count it's 20 A and B, I believe. But anyway, tons of tags over there, usually, and a lot of people, and they come out here, and like you said, they don't have maybe a week or two for vacation, so they don't come out and do much homework. They just show up and then try to find deer, and it gets to be, guys. It's not the way to do it.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather just, hey, man, a bunch of more public land. That's half the problem. You'd have them beating around when you're doing shit.
The thing is, they're beating around in the public land, and they're not doing
no, I mean,
any
come
good.
in your yard how many people are going to pull in your yard during, and especially if you're in this pheasant season, and if you're a farmer and you're harvesting and you got people coming in and you're like, oh shit, here comes somebody else. I got to get this shit cut down.
I can honestly say it's never bothered me when they stop here. I'd rather they stop. I'd rather they'd call me earlier, but stopping and I can have a conversation with them. That's never bothered me. I don't farm though. I ranch, so I'm not out there.
That's what I'm saying. Farming it, but whatever.
So Doug asks, does the Onyx hunting app show plots land? I don't know, Doug. Maybe someone on here that I've used it before.
I've only seen Onyx one time. My buddy Brad has it.
I use Base Map. They're to me, they support better things. When Onyx started supporting backcountry hunters and anglers, I quit supporting Onyx.
Hey, man, that dude had a cool sticker on his Jeep.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Gene Cox has got on here. Hey, knock on doors. And hey, Gene, by the way, thanks for displaying that banner. I don't know how many tickets you sold, but we sure appreciate it. And I hope you guys had a great gun show.
He had that baby up there loud and proud too, Clay. You saw that, right?
No, I did not see that, but I was out of service after I got home from the Trump rally down there at the lake. So Eric says 4x5 mule at 480 yards from my porch right now.
Love it.
Love it. Gotta love it.
Oh man, I love it.
Josh and Kayla. My boy has any youth tag this year, hoping we can get him on his first buck. We pretty much just hunt public land. Going to go out this weekend and try our luck. May try to get on this private land and do that. Just knock on doors and see. I don't know essentially what units you're in. I can tell you with a youth tag, and we've had this discussion on the show, but with John Armin. I know we've discussed this before. Scott, all of us have discussed this youth season and those versus bucks, and we'll have a deal on that before deer season opens up again, because it is an important discussion. Yeah, I can tell you, I for one did not have my boys take their first bucks on that youth tag. I wanted them to get the general draw one. I didn't think it was right for them to have a huge muley buck or whitetail buck. To me, they need to earn that. But once they got their general draw, we chased the big one, and that's the way I like it. But I can tell you right now, anybody that has a youth tag, generally, you can get on private land. Most people are like me; they like to see them youth in there.
Right.
This year, I already have someone committed to that. So, and I don't have the deer population after HD come through here. So I'm not going to let anybody else on. But I do have someone. They're going to take a doe. That was my specification. They had to take a doe, and that's what they're planning to do. I imagine they're going to be here this weekend when it opens up.
I got a bunch of friends with kids who are hunting. So see, I mean, that's what I'm saying, Clayton. On top of my relatives and my friends who come out, I got their kids coming. And man, you can't say no. One of your friends and their kid gets
Right.
I can't say no to that, and it's unless the deer population is absolutely decimated. But go ahead and read.
Gene points something out here. Unit 20, which is the South Dakota Course and Scout. It's within the borders of the reservation, and then you got those tags too. And what he's talking about is out-of-staters come here and then buy the reservation tags, which is good in the entire Standing Rock, North and South Dakota. And their seasons aren't closed. Antelope's open. Right, deeded land is not open to a reservation tag, nor is a state tag supposedly good on reservation.
Good point. Yep.
I can tell you it happmes, but I know that legally it's not supposed to.
Yeah. I've never did it, but
me neither.
Okay.
Anyway, there it gets to be comical watching the East River folks look for deer. I know what you're talking about. I've seen it a million times when I was hunting South Dakota. Josh says that Onyx does show the plots land. So there you go, Doug. See, we got great listeners.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate that.
Doug Wolf, he says that's a poke with a bow, Eric. He's talking about the 400. Yes, it is.
Get a crossbow.
Get a crossbow. You can hit him.
Get him right in the heart, guaranteed.
No problem, and it's easy, right? So, I'll tell you what. We're coming up on 55 minutes. Should we do our double?
Yep, let's do our double, and we'll I'll tell you what, Clay. I don't want to do it, but let's get off the land thing. We got to hit on this Governor Grisham.
It looks like we could have another show on that.
I promise you, when Scott Bachmeyer's on here, and I think it's October 4th, we're planning on having Scotty on, right? I promise you, we're going to get back into this. Yeah. So, we'll do our double ad here, right? And then we'll come back, and we're going to get into some good old Governor Grisham.
New Mexico.
Yeah. Right, New Mexico. All right, here we go.
Lauer Auto Repair. They're located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota, or give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can tackle any problem your vehicle is having, and when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with the Pro-Second Amendment America First Repair Shop. There's plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area, but why take the chance of patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake, Lauer Auto is your Pro-Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them you heard they're a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our Pro-Second Amendment, Pro-North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308, located at 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota.
Guns and the 701 is sponsored by the Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, the Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932, or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com. All right, welcome back, everybody. And I tell you what, I have got to change that. That sounds, is it the blind guy from NPR? Yeah, we're going to get rid of that. We got to do something different there. Hey, you sounded good, though. I got that finally figured out.
Yeah, well, you did that, man. You did a hell of a job on that, Clay.
Anyone wants to volunteer for voiceover, you're welcome to do it. I know I'm not the guy, but Blind Guy, Blind Guy of ND, we love you. Wyatt filled in with Marty last week and did a great job with you.
Yeah, he did.
That was a great show. And of course, Doug down there at Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street. Don't forget to stop and tell all of them that you heard it right here on Guns in the 701.
You bet. You help them, they help us, we help each other. This is the way it's done, my friends.
That's how it works.
All right, Clay, you want to lead off on this Governor LoJack Grisham here?
Yeah, so if all of you haven't heard, I don't even have the paperwork in front of me because we just went over this. So the governor, in her infinite wisdom of being a commie liberal Democrat, she decided that And I knew this was going to happen after China virus. All of these places with commies had health emergencies, and run it through that is that's the reason they can just take your rights away. So that's what she did. She made an executive order that said that people could not carry open or concealed. And I don't remember if it was just in the Albuquerque area or the entire
Just in
county.
that, yeah.
I think it was just that area.
Yep.
And essentially suspending their Second Amendment rights. So just stroke a pen, I'm going to suspend them, and we're going to call it a health emergency because of all the shootings, which, by the way, these shootings of the 5-year-old and the 11-year-old and the others had nothing to do with a concealed carry firearm. Nothing
at all.
But that was the problem in her mind. So she used it, declared it a pandemic of gun violence.
I mean, was that really her deal, Claire? Did she just want to usurp some two-way?
She just wanted us to usurp.
Yeah. That. Okay. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that's how she went about doing it. So before I go into the updates, you got anything you want to add to it in there, or should we give them all updates? Up to you.
Yeah. Right? So what I would add to it, Clay, is actually the sheriff there. I can't remember his first name. Sheriff. His last name's Allen. Sheriff Allen. Yep. This guy said completely unconstitutional. There's no possible. My deputies will not enforce this. I won't. This is
that's a sheriff right there.
Yeah. And not only the sheriff, the police chief in the city of Albuquerque, which most police chiefs in cities, even like Bismarck, they're not exactly right wingers. Yeah, most of them in big cities like Albuquerque are leftists. He even said, "No dice, not happening." The sheriff said, "We got enough shootings in this city. If we start trying to find people for carrying their guns around, which is their Second Amendment right, it's in the Constitution." He goes, "We're going to get more. It's just going to endanger my deputies," which is awesome. You don't very often hear. Yeah, he was 100%, which they did because they had a huge rally there. Yes. And actually, Clay, even the New Mexico's Attorney General, the guy's name's Raul Torres. He come out and said. Yeah. Torres said, given that only responsible gun owners are likely to abide, much less recognize your ban, it's unclear how this action will lead to a measurable decline in gun violence in our community. The data does not support the conclusion that gun violence in our community is attributed to otherwise law-abiding citizens exercising their constitutional right to carry firearms for protection outside the home. That guy's like an old Democrat. I've seen a picture of him. He's a young dude. That is awesome.
That's old school there.
Torres, I salute you for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You probably got a bunch of people hating on your own party, but you're doing the right thing, and which is what you're supposed to do when you're a politician and represent the United States and your state and your city.
Well, they take an oath to the Constitution of the United States as well as their own state.
Yeah.
And that's what they should do. And the governor, she don't care.
Yeah, and the sheriff did say, I take my Constitution a little seriously. It's not just something I say. To which Governor Grisham said, I don't need a constitutional lecture from a sheriff.
Obviously, she does.
Yeah, I mean, that is painfully obvious. So, Clay, now that we went through all that, what is the good news that we just heard before the show came on?
The good news, one of them was the Attorney General. I'd heard that, I think, yesterday. Yep. And we had a judge today rule that, guess what? He put a stop to it. He said it's unconstitutional, and he's blocking that right now. And so right now, that does not go into effect thanks to that judge. And no, I didn't look it up. I was going to, but I thought it doesn't matter who appointed him. I love the fact that this judge followed rule of law, followed the Constitution. He might not even believe that, but he knows. And I'm sure he's read the rulings that you and I have both read on Bruin and Heller. And I'm sure he figured, you know what? I'm going to put an end to it right here.
So how many lawsuits were slapped on Grisham's rear end? 6, I believe, right?
Yeah, and Gun Owners of America, I don't know if you got the alert today. I got an alert today from their email list that they were within 24 hours, they're filing one as well. So I don't know if they're going to have to now. They might want to hold off on that, being we already had a judge already stop it.
So
we'll see what happens there.
I'll tell you what some of the stuff here. With this district judge, his name is Urias is his last name. I couldn't tell you what nationality.
But he got teased in high school. But
Urethra. They agreed Wednesday with plaintiffs in several lawsuits who said the order violates constitutional rights, and he granted a temporary restraining order to block the governor's suspension of Second Amendment rights. It's in place until October 3rd court hearing.
Yep.
And here's what he said to speaking on LoJack Grisham's actions. Judge Urias said, I don't blame her for wanting to take action in the face of terrible acts, but he said he was faced with a much more narrow question regarding the rights afforded to citizens, which, I mean, I like this. These guys are actually
Yeah,
saying that the Second Amendment's your right, which it is. It's a civil
which it
right,
is. Absolutely.
you know. And so if they did catch you, state police had the authority under order to assess civil penalties up to $5,000. You couldn't get arrested or thrown in jail, but they were going to fine you. And like I said, the local sheriff and the police chief have refused to enforce it, which is awesome. They don't have to worry about it now that the judge said this, you know.
Right.
And advocates, and Republicans in the legislature, the legislative majority, have called for impeachment proceedings against the governor, which she should. When you do something like this and it's unconstitutional, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you do something that's unconstitutional and you just you're relentless, you won't stop on it, and you know it's not right, you need to face consequences, not just, hey, you were wrong, we'll just come out and say you're sorry. Hell no, you need to get booted out of there for that kind of crap. You got to have like the sheriff said here, with all these criminals, what are you going to do about them? Well, you got to start with taking responsibility for your actions, and she needs to face some responsibility for what she did here. And Clay, one more thing, she did acknowledge, when I will say, like, even liberal reporters are asking her, do you actually think criminals are going to follow us? And she said no, and she still yet wants to follow through with this crap.
Well, they just, a liberal, you can't reason with a liberal. You can't compromise with them. No. They are dead set on control and basically destroying this country and our constitutional values. They just don't care. And what do I always call them? I call them commies, because they're communists. And I'm not the only one saying that anymore.
No.
I hear it a lot, and I've been saying it for a long time. And of course, President Trump, he had no qualms about saying it down in Rapid. But the other speakers that were up there said the same thing. So we're starting to see people finally saying it.
So Clay, that's what it is. Just the name of the county where this is going on, Bernalillo County. 14,500 people have a concealed carry license in that county.
Okay.
And statewide, including that county, New Mexico has 45,000 concealed carry licenses. And you will, Clayton, like this, and so I'm assuming all of our listeners right now. The New Mexico Chief of Police Association said every law enforcement officer in the state shares Governor Lujan Grisham's concerns about gun violence, but the order was wrong to go. The association will join others in calling for a special legislative session to tackle gun violence. So he's just saying every police officer, every Leo in the state's not going to do it.
Right, and I'm glad to hear that. I wonder what would happen though if the legislature, which side they come down on, if they did. Do something.
They're blue, man. They're blue there. So
him using the term gun violence tells me a lot about him. I hate that term because the guns aren't violent. Yeah. And that was just a term that resonated better when in polling, evidently, and why they switched to it rather than gun control and violence. I mean,
I want everybody to be as up to speed on the Second Amendment and pro 2A as we are, but not everybody
they're not, are they?
Real quick, Eric had that. What was that comment he had there? I saw you flashing about crossbows and
pumpkin spice. So Eric, he said, if I get a crossbow, I'll have to start drinking pumpkin spice, and that ain't happening. Oh, that's great. Oh, I think I'm going to get him for Christmas this year. But
yeah. Hey, Waylon, better late than never. You bet, buddy. Appreciate you coming
Let's go through a couple of these. Keith O'Donnell, even David Hogg, he knew that it was BS, which then right away he says, now I have to go wash my mouth out for even saying that. I hear you, I do. Doug Wolf, X, he says, other good news is Commie Elizabeth Warren doubled down on violating our rights.
She thought Grisham was right on the money.
Oh, yeah.
This is great.
Matt Simon, good to see you here. I missed the public land in Colorado and Montana, but this should revert to the state. BLM is atrocious. They are.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that, Matt. And
I think even more local than that, right, Clay? We both said that.
I do believe that even though I'm not a big advocate of the feds owning any lands, and I think they should sell them, what I'd rather see them do, because I know that's not going to happen, maybe for many, probably never, but I would like to see it revert to the state or the county. I think it belongs in the county's hands. Every county can probably get better input and more management ideas on a local basis. And I think that's where it belongs.
Yep.
In all honesty, the school lands were developed to fund the schools. So maybe why don't these school districts have some input on that? But that's a whole nother conversation. Waylon, good to see you. Better late than never. Absolutely glad to have you with us tonight.
So Clay, on top of this, there's other stuff in this executive order too. She wants to do these studies to see what kind of gun it is.
A study. It's
Yeah.
always a study.
Yeah, they always got to do a study, right? The order contains a provision that requires the state's health department to compile a record of gunshot victims, including demographic data like their race, whatever they are, as well as a brand and caliber of the firearm used, but nothing on how the firearm was obtained. Wow, really? So I can tell you right now, the brand and caliber, what they're looking for is just like
AR-223.
Yep, and 9mm. Remember Joe Biden to blow your lungs out. I will continue to advocate for the no sale of these things and the ban on them.
Yep.
That's what they're looking to do. I mean, like a 38, and everything else can't kill you. I mean,
I really, really want someone to come out and develop the 9mm lung blower as an actual
that should be like
caliber.
The bullet, or the bullet. Just name a bullet the lung blower.
Change it so that change the actual casing, make it a little different, and make it an actual round. I think.
Yeah.
I could market that.
Clay, honestly, the most popular pistol round is probably a 9mm, right?
I don't know. I tell you, 22, and you and I are both.
All right, center fire. Most people that are killed with a pistol, it's probably
9mm.
Right, and the 223 is with the AR. So what they want to do, is correlate everything here, and try to ban these, and then the next thing's going to happen. It's not going to, because in the 80s everybody was shooting 38s, the revolvers in the 70s, and they wanted to ban the hell out of those things. Saturday night specials, So like if a bunch of people get DUIs and they do their study and most of them are in Fords, like we need to ban Fords because most people are getting DUIs in Ford F-150s.
Drinking Bud Light.
Yeah, drinking. I mean, this is ridiculous how these people try and correlate. It's ridiculous to us.
One has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah. I mean, so like David, so people that are actually on Grisham's side here, the Arizona, which is they're the Democrats in Arizona. They don't control the House or the Senate, if I'm correct here, Clay. I'm pretty sure I am.
Right, yep.
They have the governor, but they came out in full support of Governor Grisham, the Democrats in Arizona. So Arizona, you know what you're looking for. Hey, that's what you got facing. You're facing down that barrel.
Oh yeah.
If you don't get this taken care of.
The nice thing is that the judge did shut it down, so it might put the brakes temporarily on any of this. So we'll see what happens.
And of course, little Dave Hogwash came out saying this is unconstitutional, which I get a cackle out of, because that little puke will support any unconstitutional ban on any kind of gun. Yeah. But he comes out on it. So like when I hear that, Clayton, to me, I'm like, are these guys triangulating behind closed doors? All right, you guys go against it. I'll bring it up. You guys go. It's hard for me to trust Democrats. I applaud them for coming out against this, but it's hard for me to trust them because it seems like they always have something up their sleeve.
Always. I tell you one thing. You can never compromise or trust a Democrat. I've been in politics on that. I've been in that arena a long time. Their idea of a compromise, do it our way. That's it. So when they say that they're compromising, no. And if they act like they're caving a little bit, means they're getting something on the back end of it.
That's what it seems like. I mean, that seems like that to me.
And we see it all the time in Congress. I mean, we've seen it. Oh, okay, well, we're going to do this. We'll do this for you. And then when you see the bill, well, they got everything they wanted and things we didn't even know about. Who knows? Mm-hmm. It was probably already there and we didn't see it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have right here in North and South Dakota, we got guys that fall for it. Sometimes, most of the time, it seems like anymore.
So we got, if anybody wants to know any more famous people here, maybe if you want, back in our side here, Elon Musk, who remember, this guy used to be a Democrat, and this guy just keeps coming farther right. So he responded with a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, said, at risk of stating what should be obvious, deliberately violating the Constitution is next level illegal. How soon can this person be removed from office?
Absolutely.
I love it. And he actually tweeted with X or whatever they want to call it a while back here about when they wanted to take ARs away. And he goes, this is why you need ARs. But remember, Clay, when you and I first were doing the show on 1270, they were filling in for Mayor Bakken. He was actually in favor of banning ARs. How quickly your mind can change. And if people think that's bogus, just remember, President Trump was actually for that. He's not now. I'm not in fear of President Trump banning ARs at all.
I think President Trump has moved farther to the right.
Yeah, 100%.
As this whole thing has since he even before he ran. He was for certain levels of gun control, and he was.
Yeah,
and I think he's figured it out that wait a second, no, we can't do this.
I agree with you. I think his boys, because both of his boys are huge Second Amendment advocates,
huge,
and not only being on, but just the way he's been treated, and the more and more he sees these leftists. I mean, I agree 100%. He's far more right than he ever was, even when he got elected.
And I think after I was there and I listened to his speech, I mean, a lot of it was the same stuff that we've been hearing, but he had other things in there, and some of the videos they were playing in between that you probably didn't see on TV. I can tell you right now, I think the real president, President Trump, believes that this is the final line, and he fears for what could happen. And I think you all know what we think is going to happen if things don't go the way they need to go. So I guess I just sit there and I don't worry about it right now. Prepare for the worst, and everything else will be fine. That's what
I got a text here from the blind guy. He's eating some pumpkin spice flavored Oreos, and he says, "Awesome."
By the way, hey everybody, I've been getting your text messages, especially from that last segment, and I know you wanted it to go on. I don't know about your phone. Mine was kind of going crazy here, Jamie.
Nope, I wasn't too. No, not about the land, public land.
Yep, and I appreciate them, and trust me, my friends are just as. It's okay. We're all friends, and I appreciate the comments. I don't agree with all of you. Some of them are great, some of them weren't. And I know them guys. That's just fine. It's a good discussion to have. It really is.
Like I said, we get Scott on. I'm quite certain this is going to come up again. So,
and we'll promo it there.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you, Jay Titan. Let's see. I like this one that Gene put on here. What we were talking about. Why does race need to even be discussed with gunshots? Absolutely. Right. Why? Do you notice that the people who are fighting racism, want race brought up all the time?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't even mention race. I really don't. I don't care. To me, if you're a murdering scumbag like that illegal freaking alien they just finally caught in Pennsylvania, I don't really care what race you are.
The guy was illegal.
He was an illegal.
He is an illegal.
He is still an illegal. He's been in the country, I believe it was 7 years, they said. Got a girlfriend, killed her.
Stabbed her to death.
To me, I think public gallows are fitting for this. And we send big messages to the other 4 million that have slipped through here. So we're done.
Clay, all the gun laws, is it illegal to go in a person's garage and steal a rifle out of their garage and take off running?
Yes.
Okay, because that was illegal and he did it without even thinking about it. The guy shot at him. I wish he'd have hit the son of a bitch, but he didn't.
I wish they'd have got him, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, criminals don't follow laws, so they don't care.
Yeah.
Which the only people that follow laws are us. Well,
even Governor Grisham's Democrats are telling her that. And she admitted it. She admitted they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But you do it anyways.
It's
Why?
just like Biden. I forget which one he signed. He goes, "Oh, it's probably unconstitutional, but I'm going to sign this anyway." And then let it go through court.
It was the thing about what that was, Clay. I was kicking people out of apartments and
that's right. Rent. Yep. And he didn't care. He even said, "I know it's that way." Yeah. Gene, electricity flows through illegal alien murderers too. Yes, it does, and I'd love to see it. I really would love to see just a rope. Why spend the money? Let's just get a rope out there and take care of it.
Hey, Clay, remember when we did the story there a long time, maybe over a year ago, actually, that Utah brought back the firing squad?
They did. Right? I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Utah, and this had nothing to do with what we were going to talk about. Guess who's retiring? Mittens. He announced it today that this is his last time.
For all the service to America he's done.
Yeah. I bet you no one's going to miss him either.
No. Good riddance to old Mittens.
Good riddance. So, well, I'll tell you what. I think, like I said, the judge shot this down temporarily. Yep. So we got a reprieve on it. We'll see where this goes. We'll keep you updated right here. Who knows? Might end up doing it on Todd's show. Whenever it comes in, we'll let you know. And I guess we'll just leave it at that. And
you bet. You want to hit our last single, and then we'll come back with the two-way bullet points. All right.
I love hearing that new voiceover.
Me too. Makes me happy, actually.
Lauer Auto Repair. They're located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota, or give them a call at 701-258-6308. The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can tackle any problem your vehicle is having, and when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with the Pro Second Amendment America First Repair Shop. There's plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area, but why take the chance of patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake, Lauer Auto is your Pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them you heard they're a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our Pro Second Amendment, Pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308, located at 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota.
Yes, sir. And again, Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308. Give them a call. And, we do have hunting seasons coming up, fall and winter approaching us. So great time to get in there and have everything checked out. Make sure that your coolant's running good, that your heaters are running good, that your suspension's probably in good shape for some of you, the way you hunt.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Booking down them section lines now.
And get in there and get things checked. Probably do your alignment, and then you'll have to after the winter get it done again. Probably after hunting season. So,
yep,
Lauer Auto Repair, guys.
All right, Clayton, you want to go first? You want me?
No,
to
go ahead.
First?
I'm gonna let you start this off, and then I'll.
All right, so both of mine are pretty short. First one I got going here. We've mentioned this a few times. The 1 million gun a month. They thought in July it was going to get broken because July didn't get broken. So another month's passed, 49 consecutive to be exact, with 1 million or more guns sold in August because of Biden administration's ongoing war on guns, and of course people like Governor Grisham. We've hit another million. The August National NSSF adjusted NEAQ's figure of over 1.1 million. Ownership is far from over in this country, my friends. This has happened every month for more than 4 years continuously that we sold 1 million guns every month. And hey, I'm happy to say I contributed to that in August by one, anyways. So
yeah.
And
I see Vance did too. If he's still listening.
Yeah. I seen you got himself a Ruger. Hey, that's what I got too, Vance. I got a Ruger. You got a handgun, hand cannon. I got a rifle, man. That's awesome. So okay, here's the press release from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, Clayton. August 2023, NSF adjusted National Instant Background Check System figure of 1,117,824. That's actually a decrease from a year ago of 13.1%, which was 1,286,816. Which whatever. I mean, it's splitting hairs, man. That's a lot.
Hairs.
Yeah, I think. 24 states have at least one qualified alternative permit, which, right, Clay? So just because there's a background check doesn't mean it's just one gun. And if these background checks that they're using, they don't actually count the people who have concealed weapons permits, right? That don't have to go through the people with
right.
Like,
yeah.
Mine counted. I don't have one anymore since we had I'm going to get one again.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's short and sweet. We hit another 1,049,000. We got one more month, my friends, and guess what? With hunting season coming, I'm gonna guarantee you, Clayton, we're hitting 50 consecutive months with 1 million.
By the way,
Freedom Seeds spitters. So
I'm gonna maybe you and me and my wife, we all need to go. I know they do classes at Nick's place there at Patriot Firearms.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And he do them. I got the schedule, and I need to get up there and do it too. For the simple fact, just like you, I'd rather just have that, and then I don't have to.
Well, somebody actually told me now it actually go. I didn't think it went into a few other states that I go to but apparently it does. So
really,
you lost your video there, Clay.
It was on purpose because I was reaching over here. So
you have a scratching in an uncompromising place there.
No, I was grabbing something off the printer.
All right, buddy. All right, go ahead. Hit yours. You get yours. I got one more after this.
Even though they caught this guy, I still wanted to bring this up. So out in Pennsylvania, as you know, we had Delano Cavalatkati, I believe is how you pronounce that. He was an illegal alien that had been on the run because he got out, escaped. So, but you'll love this. He caused at a local gun store to see a boost in sales. Go figure, right?
Yeah.
I just thought this was a great. People basically, the police, they wanted to capture this guy, and it had been 2 weeks before the guy was captured today.
Mm-hmm.
But Beth Kelly of Boyertown and said that they're anxious and they need to catch him. It's gone on way too long. She worries for her family in South Coventry Township, she said. And then you get the thing from the school saying that they're keeping recess in, school's canceled, gym outside, all these things. He says, so it's affecting everybody. Well, it's even impacting sales at J.W. Firearms in North Coventry Township. It's just a short drive from the latest police perimeter. So the owner, he said that people bought at least 20 used shotguns in 24 hours. And what he was talking about in here is that he figured what was happening is people have the conception that the shotgun is probably the best self-defense firearm in situations like this. And I wouldn't argue that, honestly. You don't have to be real accurate. You can get the job done. And you're defending yourself. You're not necessarily a killer, right? You don't need to go out there and kill the person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just a bonus if it happens for a scumbag.
It's a happy ending.
It's a happy ending. He said the sales don't account for the handguns and other firearms sold or the ones that took place over the weekend either. So this was just in a 24-hour period and didn't include the weekend or other firearms. He said today it was all about used shotguns because they're portable, they're easy to use, and a lot of people have the idea that it's the best home defense firearm. You don't want to get you don't want tragedies to fuel sales, but he says this has definitely been a busy day. I translate that as business is good. I'll take the money and then help get the Second Amendment in place.
Clay, honestly, shotguns are pretty affordable too. So
they're very affordable. Yep.
And I mean, you can get. We kind of talked maybe a little bit about this last week, but if you want to use a shotgun strictly for self-defense, get yourself some buckshot. You can even get the mini shells now, which Axe and I have tested, and them suckers got way more power than I thought, but you're getting way less recoil if you're recoil sensitive.
Absolutely, yes.
So real quick, Clay, I got to slip this in. I just want Gene to type in a response here. Gene, last week we were wondering about octagon barrels. Was that standard on like old lever actions back in the day, or was that like an upgrade and they were just regular old round smooth barrels? We didn't know, but we were wondering if you knew.
Good question. I don't even know that one.
Yeah.
A lot of them were octagon, but I don't know.
Because I don't really recall seeing the smooth, like the octagons, like the heavy barrels. But so who knows? I always thought no
problem. I am going to add that they started interviewing people coming out of the gun store, after they closed. And first time owners who didn't want to be on camera, but admitted that the incident made them aware of what was going on, and they said now having trouble sleeping and they want to be able to protect themselves.
Good.
Then this morning, especially, This morning, especially, we saw probably 6 soccer moms pretty much lined up at the door buying guns for the first. That'd be a view, wouldn't it? All of a sudden, you got 6 women there that maybe drop their kids off from school and then let's go buy a gun.
Clay, see how easy it is to wake people up to reality?
What's that?
See how easy it is to wake people up
to reality?
That's right. Absolutely. The guy was an escaped convict and he never got a gun until a few days ago, and all these people were shitting bricks going out and buying guns, which I'm glad they did. But don't lose that intensity. Get yourself some training. Get yourself a little more up to speed in Pennsylvania. You need more pro Second Amendment civil right minded people there. So
absolutely. Yeah. Then they talked about how this guy's out in the woods, which he was, and he's hiding. He wasn't really all that far away, and they just wanted to take measures to protect themselves. And I'm glad that the Second Amendment was there that they could do that. But like Jamie said, don't just buy it. Get out there, learn how to use it, use it correctly, and don't injure yourself, because shotguns are relatively easy to use. Yeah, but they're still a firearm, and they need your respect. So, anyway, I just thought that was interesting that the gun store not too far from that perimeter, just boom, sales shot up, and it doesn't surprise me. It really don't.
Yeah, and Jay Titan answered you. Oh, he did. Okay, what he?
And it makes sense. Octagon is easy to manufacture. Probably. I mean. You didn't have a lot of turning.
Clamped it into a clamp, and before they drilled out the bore. Yeah. Jay Titan says he's heard some good news regarding the pistol braces for ARs and AKs.
Do tell. I must have missed that.
Yeah. All right. Well, he can get that going there. Well, I'll get to my second 2A bullet point here, Clayton.
Go for it.
I think most people know what the AR7 or the AR700.
The AR7. Hey, a new gun.
Isn't that one that Joe wants to ban? The AR700.
AR7s, 10s. Well, there's 10s, 8s, 9s.
Yeah, the Remington 700. Right, they came back under new ownership here, and they're kind of rebranding themselves. And So Remington is to include Timney triggers in all 700 series rifles from now on.
Wow.
And that's in a recent Instagram post, Remington announced that all new Remington 700 will feature Timney triggers. That's all, not even the base models, Clay, not just your upper, like your cheap. I can't remember what the low grade, but even the low grade, I mean, they're like a Ruger American now. I mean, their barrels are so good. Speaking of barrels, these things shoot freaking awesome. You know, because the trigger is one of the better ways to improve your accuracy with an aftermarket.
Oh, absolutely. Trigger can, yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Impact 700, non-adjustable. It'll break between 3 and 4 pounds, which to me I like my triggers at 3, but between 3 and 4. If it's 4 pounds and you shoot it, it'll go down to 3. I'll bet you where's in there. And Remington will, like I said, supply it in Impact 700 in all models except the Alpha 1 and the Police. The Alpha 1 has an Elite Hunter trigger. It's got the straight blade. If you're kind of an anti-straight blade person, give it a try. I got one in my pistol because I was definitely anti-straight blade just because I thought it looked freaking ridiculous and stupid, which is a dumb reason to hate something. But I was proven wrong. I admit it. Straight blade is pretty badass.
Hey, you didn't care for the Kel-Tec, but you love that now.
yeah, the Kel-Tec was awesome. And the Police model has an Elite Hunter, but it has the curved trigger. I'm not sure. Man, I think the Hunter would almost have the curved one on the Police model of the straight one, but whatever.
Yeah.
So from the manufacturer, Remington goes on. We're proud to announce an inline product change across the board for all Remington Model 700 bolt rifles. Remington Firearms has joined forces with Timney triggers, which Timney's makes awesome triggers.
They do.
And now all newly manufactured Model 700 rifles will come with factory-installed Timney trigger. And like I said, there's 3 different models. The Model 700 first introduced in 1962. Timney's been manufacturing their version of the 700 trigger since 65. Unquestionable commitment by our men and women to quality, performance, and delivering a new level of standard to the hunter in the field. So, hey, this is great. And Timney, I'm not sure what this is, but they got their sear engagement adjusted lock, which I don't know. It's kind of probably a safety thing on it.
Right.
But, I mean, if it's breaking at 3 and 4 pounds, it's a single stage, obviously. Sounds like a sweet trigger. I've had some Remington 700s. I have no problem with them. Even when people said they were getting crappy workmanship on them, the ones I seen, I mean, like, you know, their machining work was little, but they still shot freaking great. So, I mean, I know they're coming with a Timney trigger. If you're looking for a new rifle, deer season's coming up. By all means.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I like Timney triggers. I've got a couple guns, so yeah, I do like it. And there's a lot of aftermarket triggers out there, but an adjustable trigger is always good in my opinion.
Okay, Gene's got a little something more here on these barrels here. You got the Hawken. Why don't you read that, Clay?
Hawken rifles. They were made in St. Louis back in the Mountain Man days. Featured half stocks and an octagon barrel. They were cheaper to make and could bring down a bison at 100 yards. Jeremiah Johnson. Hey, great movie. So
yeah, it was.
Too bad a commie was just playing the actor.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, great movie.
yeah, that commie played a lot of good characters.
I suppose to remove the doubt of the original 700. I suppose that's probably why they're doing it, Doug.
Yeah, because remember they had that problem there in the 80s
where they would go off.
Yeah,
actually, there were lawsuits. In fact, out in Montana, of all places, there was a lady out there. Yeah, and it went off on her. Liability, right? Doug's that. Gene Cox says the new 7mm Remington mag was introduced in the new model 700 that year. Good to know.
Awesome. I mean, if you're just like a one gun hunting thing for
I love
deer and elk and everything, I mean, the 7mm mag is. I mean, now they got 7mm PRCs and that too. But I mean,
and
they're
as
awesome.
I've said several times, I'm a big fan of 7mm 08. I love that gun too.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
So, Mike, I just got to, I've been following this Montana case. We've had a couple different updates of Gabriel Metcalf. If you guys don't remember, he was arrested, and I found out he wasn't even in the public boulevard like they were first stating. He was arrested for violating the gun-free zone. And if you guys don't know that was passed in 1990 and then ruled unconstitutional, repassed in 1994. Not going to go into that here tonight because we've explained that extensively. So he was actually arrested for having his firearm, and he actually had a scabbard on his lawnmower, and that's why he had it in there. the initial reports came out that he was just kind of this nutcase that just was doing it because he could.
Oh,
And
of
honestly, on his own property like that, he could. Your properties, even though if they were within the perimeter of that gun-free zone, they were exempt from that. Although there is some gray areas to whether it's in your home or in your property. I say it's property, but again, that has to go to court too, probably. In this case, I have a feeling this case is going all the way to the Supreme Court. So, update on this is he's been arrested, of course. He's incarcerated still today, has no prior convictions, no violence, no history of violence.
Mhm.
He's never threatened anybody, never used his weapon on anybody. He's carried it. The Billings Police Department had stopped and visited with him several times, finding no violations of city ordinances or Montana law. And he got arrested because he was actually exercising his First and Second Amendment rights. Now, so there's been some correspondence, news people actually evidently doing some digging, and they found out that the David Lee Carpenter, now this was the guy that Gabriel Metcalf said was why he was doing this, because the guy was threatening. He felt threatened. His mother lives with him, and she felt threatened. Well, then they said, no, that isn't happening. Well, guess what they found? They found evidence now of a conviction of David Lee Carpenter in November of 2022 of 5 criminal misdemeanors involving 2 separate individuals, including an assault on Gabriel Metcalf. This goes on. 2 of the violations were of an order protection and 2 for privacy of communications. His threats and active attacks, they started about a year before the issuance of the order protection in August of 2022. He was arrested and convicted then, and by November 2022, he was ordered to wear a GPS tracking ankle monitor. After a warrant for his arrest then was issued again, then he was arrested on a warrant on July 31st, 2023, but released on bail with another GPS tracker. All these things are for assault, threats, things like that. The Billings Police Department has 162 sworn officers. And those order protection cases involved David Lee Carpenter have been going on for over 2 years with the officers. They've all sworn that this guy's been a problem.
Yeah.
He lives about, it looked like to me, about a mile from Gabriel Metcalf and of course, and his mother Vivian, and then that's about a mile away from the Billings Police Department. They're very familiar with these guys. So what's going on here is I got a question. This guy is out on bail. He's obviously been a problem, been a threat to his neighbors, threatened them physically, actually assaulted Mr. Metcalf. But he's the guy in jail with no previous any problems. And the other guy now is out on bail, still free as can be with a GPS tracker. And that's, I think that's going to be an interesting thing as this case develops. That's why I brought it as a 2A bullet point, because we don't, there's a lot of unknowns yet. But when you look at what's happening here with this particular individual, I think they're trying to make an example out of him for violating the gun-free zone, near a school. And you got another guy who's doing actually worse things, just didn't do it with a gun. And Metcalf has not used his gun. He just started carrying it with him to protect himself and his mother. And that is a Second Amendment fundamental right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stay tuned, guys. I'm going to be keeping watch on this case. I've signed up on a lot of things so that I get alerts on it right away, because I want to know where this goes, what happens in the court system as it works its way through. And rumors is that there's a couple of I don't have confirmation yet, but a couple of the other gun organizations have now stepped up and are going to start providing legal counsel for Mr. Metcalf. So to me, this is probably the case that can overturn the gun-free zone. I'm about positive.
Good. I'd love to see it, as it should be.
Yes.
Gun-free zone.
Gun-free zone.
Soft
target.
That's
worked. That's really worked well. It's for school shootings.
Yeah, it's working awesome, right?
And I also found out that a lot of these guys, even if they don't kill themselves when they go in there and they arrest them, you know what charge they never charge them with? The Gun-Free Zone Act, ever.
Yeah, because they charge you with everything else, even when you're dead.
I mean, the guys are violating that by even taking a firearm into that school, but they don't charge them with that. They charge them with everything else. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, Jay Titan says he works with his coworker. He swears he's your doppelganger.
Poor guy. You'll have to meet this guy. He has been a big mentor in my life. Well, I'm glad I could help you out with this. I could be too. So,
For sure.
I would love to meet this guy. Maybe we'll have to make that happen. Is Jay Titan in the Bismarck area?
No, I think he's down Georgia or
Oh,
North?
George. Well,
Because my Aunt Joan down there, she turned him on the
okay.
show here. So.
Well, I know that we're going to be heading that way sometime in March, probably. So, but I'm not supposed to go to Georgia, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
I just can't get caught, right?
All right, Clay, you want to do your commie or your
I don't have a
Patriot
commie
company?
one.
Patriot
I got
company.
something
My bad.
better.
All right, go for it, buddy.
All right, here is our Patriot company of the week. All right. Hey, I love hearing that too with our national anthem. So, our patriotic company of the week comes from Bismarck, a local business there. I can't say enough about this guy when we first stopped in there and we were first starting up. What's that?
That's what your picture was for. I didn't get that to be a pregame show there. All right, sorry, buddy.
Okay. We stopped in there and we were looking for decals. Remember that? And we wanted to get some signs made. We didn't know where we were going with this. This is when we were first starting up Guns in the 7-1 and started visiting with him. And I was like, oh, this guy's with us. I would have never guessed it. He wasn't originally from here either. But this guy's a patriot. I mean, this guy's a patriot.
Big time.
He loves what we're doing. He's been really supportive of what we're doing. I know I sent him some stuff here a week ago. He's talking about becoming some kind of a sponsor for us. So we're very, very happy to hear that. So with ado, here he is. Our patriotic company of the week is Signs and Wonders. You can find them at 535 Airport Road, Bismarck, North Dakota. That picture there, that is the owner. That's a Richard. We call him Rick. He's allowed us to call him Rick. How do you pronounce his last name? I couldn't remember. The Canodal?
Yeah, I think it's Rick Canodal, actually. Yeah, and if you're ever on the river and you see a big pimped out houseboat and it's sweet decal on the back, it says Nemesis. That's Rick. He's got in that red LEDs. But Rick is awesome, man.
He is. He's the one that made the banners behind us.
Right behind us.
He's also the guy that made the decals that have that particular one on Jamie's and mine, and then he made the other decals for us that had the AR. And basically where Jamie just changed it up a little bit, the Bible verse, sell your guns. sell your
yeah. I gave it the New Testament, Clay.
You did the New Testament. There you go. And buy ARs. So yeah. He's been great. We needed another banner, for the gun show. He got that just smoked out right away.
Rick got it done right away.
And I know we're going to do some more work with him. We've talked about a few things, and we're going to try to get some more of these decals made, and they're going to do them through him. So we want to tip our hat to Signs and Wonders. And again, guys, if you didn't catch that, I'll put it back up here. It is at 535 Airport Road, Bismarck, North Dakota. So if you're on the expressway in Bismarck, you go north, right off the expressway onto Airport Road. And it's, I don't know, halfway between there and Maine, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's the Super Value Warehouse. I don't know if that's even the name of it anymore, but
I don't
know.
Diamond,
baseball, softball diamond.
And it is on the east side of the road. So you
got a text from the blind guy, said they use Rick. He's awesome guy too. So, and hey, if somebody's sponsoring our show says Rick's awesome, I mean, that's 100% right on the money.
Right
baby.
there. So if you need anything done, he even does T-shirts and things. We talked to him about some of that. They're not really into that. I think he had somebody that could do them, if I remember right. Was there some magnets? I think you could do magnets for your doors.
Man,
He
Rick
can
can
a
do
lot of
tons of
things.
stuff. Just go in there. He's got. I
Yes.
mean, I
And if he
bet you.
can't do it, he's got someone who can.
Yeah, he does. He's got a new gal in there, and we had this made, and she was super into doing what graphic design and all that, and computer aided design and
So
whatever
that is
technical
Rick
terms
is
they
our
use in there.
patriotic company of the week,
Yeah,
and we're
signs of
proud to
wonders.
have him as part of our little family here and he does a lot of work for us. So
Yeah,
guys, we
All
try to keep it local. We try to keep it patriotic. We try to do business with people who are not woke. And trust me, Rick
we
is
don't
not
even try,
woke.
Clayton. We do.
We do. That's right. We even changed our web hosting.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you, before you go on, I'm going to give you one quick thing here. Right here. Leon. Hey, Leon. Gun Owners of America and Gun Foundation have received a temporary restraining order against New Mexico tin pot dictator's tyrannical firearm carry ban. Couldn't have been said better. Thank you, Leon. And yeah, I think that's probably the same one. I don't know.
Yeah, Leon, you're late. You hit in a little late. We appreciate you getting in, but we hit that not right off the top, but we got it, buddy. Thanks for chiming in on that. We appreciate it.
And Waylon says they use him too, so he does a great job.
Yeah.
So,
All
see,
right,
there
man.
we go. There we go. There we go.
River City Marine uses them. Right on.
Awesome.
You can get some.
All right.
You can get some 30-06 AR raffle tickets over there from Waylon.
There we go. Get over there. Get them from him. We still got a few.
Hey, look there, Doug Wolf. He's looking for a truck wrap. Hey, Doug, he's not our sponsor yet, but I think if you do use him and you mention where you heard it, that might give him a little what do you call the old cattle prod right in the old butt cheek there.
And any of these companies that we have on here, absolutely go in there and tell them you heard it here, because we're proud to have them with us. We've done business with them, whether it's David at 1760 Sports, of course, the blind guy, Laura Auto. We've had a ton of these guys on here. I got the Minuteman signs out in North Carolina. As I said, if you hear it from here,
North Country Designs right here, Waylon's wife.
Absolutely. And then Clay's Sweatshop right down here, locally produced, and and shirts and hats.
Tell them, hey, tell your workers to stay off the camera in the background.
That's right. All right.
Hey, Kelsey, better late than never, buddy.
No, yep, absolutely. I guess that's why we're on about 2 hours now, right?
Yeah. I mean, all right. So we're gonna hit the happy ending.
Yes.
Yeah, we actually bumped up here. People are tuning in here, coming in late. Usually, truck pickup wrap, Eric. Sorry, man.
Pickup wrap.
Yeah, Dave Fetty said you're gonna love the new plate he's making for those long range. He actually got he's got our decal incorporated on there, man. That's awesome, Dave.
And I seen that, David. I can tell you right now, Sunday I was completely out of service. I didn't do much after I got home, and it's been a rat race ever since. So I did see it. It looked awesome. 2 left.
Waylon Turnus has 2 left. 2:30. I have some more if you need it. Swing into get a hold of
last count on the gun wrap. Well, do the happy ending, then I'll hit that stuff after that.
Let me get this out of the way, and we can play this happy ending here. So. Oh yeah, happy ending music of the week. You should bring a smile to you. If you only listen to us on the podcast, you got to come on here on the live stream and check out the happy ending video, because it's pretty
absolutely
sweet. That's a Clayton Peterson original there from that's old school now, Clay, right? That's old
school now. Yeah, long time ago. I suppose about a year ago.
Yeah. So okay, so we're going down here. This week's happy ending is going to take us to Dallas, Texas. 3 suspects in Dallas, Texas, pointed a gun at a man at a gas station in May in an attempted carjacking. However, the car owner was armed and shot at the men, striking 2 of the 3. The suspects fled in another car, and this one makes me laugh here, apparently with one man's feet still dangling out as they sped off and drove to a hospital where one suspect died. The other 2 sustained non-life-threatening injuries and were expected to recover. That's coming out of WFAA.com in Dallas, Texas. So I love it, man. He tried to carjack him. Dude pulls his own gun and kills one of them, feet dangling out the window like wet noodles when they sped away from being shot back at. Yeah, love it. That makes me happy. Obviously, where I'm laughing, this is a happy ending for me. I love it. And the guy didn't. Obviously, nothing happened to the guy, and he no charges, which definitely shouldn't have been.
And the one has assumed room temperature, so perfect.
Yeah. After his had spaghetti ankles hanging out the window. So.
Doug Wolf, Chevys are trucks. Oh my goodness! Hey, speaking of Doug's going along with us on the hog hunt. There's still a seat for you. March. Come on.
Yeah,
get back to Florida.
I'm going to Florida here in October, and then the deer season is probably. We'll see what I might win the Lucky for Life before then. You never know.
Eric Newman, they're like a rock, Doug. They're right. They just sit there. So, all right, I'm going to do a couple announcements here before
you bet, Clay. Let's hit it,
far
buddy.
in here. One of them is it deals with the gun raffle. So we have our annual meeting coming up for North Dakota Farm Bureau with Grant Sioux County. That's going to take place Saturday, September 16th at the Grant County Fairgrounds in Carson, North Dakota. 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time, guys. We have Paul Metz. He's from Oliver County. He's going to do a mounted cowboy action shooting demonstration. That's going to be pretty cool. He's bringing his daughter. She's really good at this, too. They compete all over the country doing this stuff. And then his niece. They're both going to be there with Paul, and they're going to give us a nice little demonstration for about 45 minutes. Then we're going to move to the actual fairground building up there. Going to have a free smoked pulled pork dinner by D&K Catering. If you have not had their food, oh, my goodness. And we got all the fixings. So it's going to be a great time. And then, of course, we're going to have our meeting after that. If you're not a Farm Bureau member, that's okay. You can sure still come. We'd love to sign you up and kind of tell you exactly what we're doing there. Have about, last I counted, I think there's like 24 tickets left. I sold quite a few in line down there at the Trump rally. So on our AR-10. And we had a couple of the plates fall off. They're taking care of that. So I won't have the gun there on the 16th, but A&A Engraving is completely backing that. And they figured out what happens when we Cerakoted that. It's like a ceramic coating. And they're actually going into those little indentions now and removing that Cerakote so they can attach the plates back on there correctly. So kudos to them. It was a brand new gun they'd never done. So I didn't mind. I've had a working relationship with them guys for 20 years, and I will back them 100%. They do great work. And if they don't, they take care of you. So again, guys, that's this Saturday, September 16th, 5:30 p.m. Come on out, hit the rodeo arena, and come out and see a great show and then have a great meal afterwards.
And I've had hands-on on that gun, Clay, and that thing is sweet. That's sweet. That's a sweet AR. Clay's right about that coating. I I mentioned that to you right away, didn't I, Clay? I said, man, what they got on it, this thing's nice and smooth, and it's nice, professional-looking coating. It wasn't some cobby work. That's some quality craftsmanship on that thing right there, I guarantee you. I know Waylon wants to win it, but I hope my dad does. But
Waylon's got 33 tickets sold, and we want to thank Waylon. He's been great. Jamie's done a bunch. We picked up a couple other people. She's been running over to Mobridge once a week, so she's been taking them over to sale, and she's just been knocking them out 30, 40 at a time. So I want to thank all them people. And she's the wife of one of our members, so even better yet that she jumped in there. So, yeah, it hasn't sold out as quickly as our other two raffles, but that's okay. This is a quality gun. It was something new. I will say it's a success now. I mean, we were selling 100 extra tickets over last year, so we have sold pretty much what we sold last year. Just this is a nicer gun. So anyway, and if anybody has suggestions, we're always open to them for what we do next year. We're not.
I'll tell you this: Saturday night, depending on, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be there, but Zap has a car show thing going on and a mud drag and races with lawnmowers, and I'll probably have some there on top of some. Yeah, I'll have some of those there on top of some guns and the 701 swag. So I don't think
you need any more, bud. I'm
going
to be up there tomorrow.
Nope,
I can bring you that
I'm
stuff
good.
you
I'm
sent
good.
with me, so.
I should have plenty, but you can bring me some more like large shirts and extra large.
Okay.
There's not too many small fellers in Mercer County. They're big old country boys, but yeah. But yeah, if you see me there, I'm going to be there. I don't know if I'm going to hang out too late. I think I'm going to do some porcupine, and I want to get up early and scout some deer Sunday. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll have them with me. So
awesome. I can't say enough about the people that have helped us out with that gun. David Fetting, 1760 Sports. He's handling all the FFL work. And if you do win it, and we got that on the ticket, that you do have to go to him in Mandan, fill out the 4473, and then it's yours. And again, with any gun, if you can't pass the background check, don't buy a ticket because you're going to forfeit your prize. We don't refund.
And then Clay's got to go through the whole redrawing process.
That too, and that sucks.
Oh,
Eric Newman, he's got on here. He goes, "Don't sell too many. My odds go down." Doug says you might be walking to Florida, Eric. Yeah, me and Doug talked. We're talking about taking his pickup down there for that hunt. So we'll see. I know Lynette talked about going down because that's where their kids are. So we'll see how that all works out. But she'd probably fly. But it's honestly, it's a fun road trip. It really is. That's probably half the
Just
fun.
don't expect Dougie to drive.
It's okay. I got a heavy enough foot for all of us. What was that with Doug?
I said he's a drinking man like myself.
All right. Well, I guess I don't have much else tonight.
Well, Clay, I'll tell you what, Monday was our last day on In the Crosshairs with Jay Dillon on KFYRplus.com. It was a great show. If you guys missed it, you can go back and catch a replay of that. The video is a little janky, but the audio is perfect. So you can check that on our Facebook page and YouTube. But we're going to be every Friday. We're still on, and we didn't part on bad ways. It was don't worry, it was nothing.
Nope. It was actually
our experience
our
with KFYR TV was awesome, and with Jay Dillon was awesome, man. I loved it. And we're going to be back occasionally, right, Clayton?
Yep, he's planning to have us back, like deer season, just different stuff.
Yeah.
He asked right away, well, can I come to you guys for any Second Amendment stuff? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This was not a parting where anyone was mad. We actually initiated it, and who knows? Maybe we'll be back on at some point. But
yeah, we will.
Right now,
I'm certain of that.
It just wasn't in the cards, and it was getting to be a lot of work, and so we had to cut somewhere.
Because I tell you what, on top of that, every Friday, Clay, once baseball season's over, which you and I aren't quite sure of, but Todd is, but we get a hard day. What's going to happen when baseball season's over every Friday?
We're going to be on at 8:15 then in the morning, 8:15 a.m., 7:15 Mountain Time. So
and how long are we going to be on? KFYR
45 minutes. 45 minutes.
45 minutes, and it's going to be on KFYR 550 AM.
Yep.
And we're going to be on iHeartRadio, and of course, Clay's. We're going to get a little meeting together with Todd, and hopefully we can work it out to where we can do the live stream and on the air, right, Clayton?
That's what we're trying to do.
Come on, Todd. We did it when we were on 1270. There's no way we can't do this at 550.
Yeah, what we'd like to try and do is get the camera. We have, you and I are set up. I mean, we can use the restream. So all we got to do is have a camera with him and bring him into this, and then we can live stream it right here.
And if you and me have one, K-Fire damn sure better have one.
I'm pretty sure they got one.
I think James told us we were on there with Daryl that one last. In fact, about a year ago in October, we were on with Daryl, right? That's when we started with Todd.
And we did it from there. And it wasn't as great because we didn't have the audio fed in there, but I know we can do it. You got a better board than we had over at 1270.
Yeah, we did it at 1270, and that worked. I mean, that was slick as I can't say the S word, but it worked good over there too as the ransom. So, but and so again, next Wednesday we're going to have a special guest on, Naomi Chafee from Constitutional Chafee. She has a podcast and a live stream. You can catch her podcast. That's on iHeart, and I think she's on Spotify as well. Clay and I are obviously.
Clay's got us all.
Yes, she is on Facebook as well. And man, is she on you? I know she's on Facebook. I don't know about YouTube, but and then a week after that, Clay and I are going solo again. And then October 4th, we're planning on having our buddy Scott Bachmeyer on from Dakota Prairie Outdoors. That'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know when we get closer what topics we're hitting. But like Naomi's thing is she's going to college to be a lawyer. So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna ask her about constitutionality of.
There you go, right there. There's her web page, right there, her Facebook page. So
nice, Clay. Way to be on it, buddy. Yeah, and I think she was out blasting. If Travis was on, he'd like this. Zach, she was out shooting the AK-47. It looked to me like it was Bismarck gun range down south of Bismarck. But we're planning on getting her out to Dougie's, and she's looking forward to shooting some 50 and 338 and all the other. And if she actually said flamethrower, she did a little live stream there today. I saw on Facebook, and she was mentioning the flamethrower.
Yeah, let's see if this will come through.
In around Albuquerque. But surely because it was in response to gun violence, it's not unconstitutional. Wrong. Read the Second Amendment. And then she goes on to say that the police are the people that should be having guns in order to protect our citizens.
Oh,
but
wow.
aren't these the same people
some
that want to defund the
reverberation there,
I
police?
see that. Yeah.
Which way?
Well, I don't have it hooked up through our system. But anyway, you get the gist of what she's going to say.
Naomi. She's young. She's going to college. I hope you guys can tune in and give her some support and then start liking her page. Hey, because we need people like that. We need the young people to take over.
Absolutely.
I mean, Clay, some people probably think me and Clay are relatively young, but I'm 52 and Clay's going to be coming up on 50. So
yeah, I turned 49. I'll be 50 next year. So about 4 days. So yeah. Turned 49. Yeah.
Advil every day.
49. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
big league, Clay. 50's big league.
Big league.
All
Making
right.
birthdays great again. So
All
right.
we almost set the record last week. Clay didn't like that because he wasn't on. So now we definitely set it. One of these times we're going to hit 2 hours, Clay.
Oh, that was 2 minutes and 15 seconds away. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, we can appreciate everybody hanging in there. Love you guys' support. Thank you. Oh, there you go. Doug's giving you the happy birthday.
Early happy birthday. Gotcha, Clay. 50 in November.
So this weekend, if you're looking for any video, like I said, I'm gonna be scouting some deer. I'm gonna be taking some video. If I see any big ones, don't expect to see those on any of our social media sites. But I'm gonna test. I got some reloads going. I got that 6.5 Grendel out of that Ruger Ranch 16-inch barrel. I'm gonna do some testing on that. Don't worry, I'll make the video quick, under 2 minutes, but we'll let you know what it's all about and how it's shooting. And hopefully Saturday night after I leave the old Zap car show, it's porcupine hunting time.
There
I got
we
some
go.
thinning
There
to
we
do. So
if I wasn't busy this weekend with the deal, I'd have come up and just hung out with you. And had
pheasant
some fun,
season's coming, buddy.
it's
Get
coming.
that planned up. Let's
These
do
are
it.
I think this is the last of my meetings except the state meeting in Bismarck, or actually it's in Fargo in November, but I ain't worried about that either. So
All right.
And thanks to Buck and the boys from Alabama for the contents. This was great tonight.
Pete Coors, I know you don't own it no more, but my Coors Lights were tasting good, whoever owns it.
All right, guys, it's been a great evening. I think we had a really good discussion. Share with your friends. Like the page on Facebook. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, check out that website, guys. gunsand701.com. Now we got our gear on there. We've made a few sales and some donations. That's great. Yeah. We love it. We just got that sweatshirt knocked out of there and sent out today. When you order those big sweatshirts, like I said, it takes 2 weeks because we got to order everything in and then get it made. So anyway, we're happy to have it. Zach, it's on the way. If you haven't seen the emails that have come through, I got that set up good finally. Everything's automatic, Jamie. So
yeah, Clay just got to show me how to log in. I'm still logged out of our own website, but
I better not die. You're going to be screwed.
Yeah, no kid.
All right, guys. With that, then I guess we're going to call it an evening. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting us. And as always, what do we say? Keep your powder dry.
Powder dry.
We will see everybody next week right here.